Let us talk about the Cyber Rodeo.
Okay, so for the uninitiated like myself, what are you talking about with Cyber Rodeo?
Not going to try and pretend. I'm a Tesla junkie. We know that. Last week they did the Cyber Rodeo. Tesla opened up their Texas Gigafactory. They had the Cyber Rodeo is what they called it. It's just a big party where they did a bunch of cool stuff.
Okay.
And it was at an absolute clinic in marketing. A clinic in marketing.
So we're going to talk about it, and so that way our viewers, our listeners of the podcast will go, I'm going to try that.
Well, I don't know if they can try it on that scale, but they can definitely learn lessons about the non-marketing marketing, the no advertising advertisement.
I love
Cyber Rodeo!
Let's get into it.
Breaking news, folks, breaking news. Small Business Superhero Podcast has just landed.
So,
all right, so the Austin Gigafactory. For the uninitiated, gigafactories are what they call the actual factories that Tesla is making, in which they make batteries and cars in the same factory.
okay.
Elon Musk's vision initially was what he calls his alien dreadnought. In your mind, picture like a terrifying
Alien Dreadnought?
The alien dreadnought, yeah.
Okay.
In your mind, picture a terrifying alien spacecraft.
Right.
Where
Mothership or something.
You know, the mothership, where they're building smaller ships inside of it. And it's like just robots just slamming pieces together. And so like a big assembly line, robots are slamming pieces together, raw materials in one side, finished product out the other side, the alien dreadnought. And so initially, when they first started, they bought a secondhand factory in Fremont, California. I think it used to be, I want to say a Toyota factory. I want to say that. That doesn't make me right, but I think it was a Toyota factory. And so then they had to retrofit their robots inside of the Toyota factory. It just wasn't ideal. They still use that factory, but they went and they made a gigafactory in Nevada that only makes batteries. And then they made a gigafactory in Shanghai, China. That's the first one where his vision started to become realized. It still didn't. It looks the way he wants it to look, and in a lot of ways it operates the way he wanted it to operate. But it still wasn't the full realization of his vision. Giga Berlin in Berlin, Germany, came very, very close, and I think it will blossom into his vision. But the Tesla Gigafactory in Austin is the first one where you can tell that he's feeling like the alien dreadnought has arrived.
Gotcha. Okay.
The thing, if you take that building and set it up on its nose, it is like a third taller than the tallest building on Earth. It's humongous. It's gigantic. He actually did the math, and he figured out that you could fit 186 billion gerbils inside of it, or 186 billion hamsters.
Only as Elon Musk could do.
Yeah, only Elon Musk would qualify it in the number of hamsters by volume. But he also said I think he said it would take 6 of the Pentagon building to make one Gigafactory Austin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so he's talking about size in the spectrum of the number of Pentagons, orders of Pentagon. And so it's this gigantic building, and robots everywhere. And not Optimus, the humanoid robot.
Yeah,
He's
but
talking
like,
about the big huge arms, just like the alien dreadnought, slamming pieces down. And that's how the cars are getting built. And he actually put a big top-down view, a cross-section up on the screen showing raw materials in here. This is where all these things happen, cars out. Raw materials in, cars out. And like fully 1/3 of the building is still unused. It's for future development. But they make batteries and cars in the same place.
Okay, so that cuts down on cost somewhat. You bring it all to one place.
Oh, a huge amount.
Yeah.
A huge amount.
Okay, so this Cyber Rodeo. So what is it? A not marketing thing going on?
So if somebody said, yeah,
or
it's
open house.
Somebody said it was an open house of the car factory.
Okay.
Would you care?
No.
But you've asked me 3 times since we started the podcast, what's Cyber Rodeo mean?
Oh.
You see my point?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, what is Cyber Rodeo? What is that? What are you talking about? And so there's no question that even just calling it Cyber Rodeo, cyber puts the futuristic thing into your mind. It makes you think of the Cybertruck. Rodeo is like, okay, we're in Texas. Why a rodeo? It puts a certain type of image into your mind. The Cyber Rodeo was nothing more than the grand opening of the factory.
Okay.
Like you said, an open house. Only Remember a minute ago I said Elon Musk calculated the volume of the factory in numbers of hamsters?
Hamsters, gerbils,
Yeah. So it's the grand opening. It's the open house of the factory, but it's Elon Musk style. It was insane. I didn't go, of course. I was not invited. But they had 15,000 people show up to this thing. 15,000.
Oh, wow.
15,000. If
So let me ask
Ford
this
had an
question.
open house of their new factory.
No. It wouldn't. It would be like the family and relatives of the workers there, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the 15,000 people were invited, and thousands more descended upon the place, and security had to keep them back from the factory. Like, people were clamoring. People came from other countries to come to this party. And it was just it was a big party. Like, they had DJs, they had stages set up.
Oh, wow.
They had rides for the kiddies and, all kinds of, it was like a giant carnival / fair / future party.
He took the opportunity of open house. Hey, we've completed the factory. We want to show off and kind of get with the community.
Yep.
Let's not market it. Let's just have an open house and have a good time.
Yes, sir.
Cyber Rodeo, which is a
Cyber Rodeo.
perfect like sacred word kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's smart.
It is astounding. Now, the whole thing, it was like, doors opened at some time. I think it was like 4 p.m. doors open, something like that. People had been there camping out for a couple of days. They'd been waiting for it.
Oh, geez.
They were doing live streams leading up to it. Yeah, remember we've talked before about the fact that Tesla, when people buy a Tesla, it's almost obligatory that they start their own channel.
Yep.
When people start their own channel, they start like tracking the events that are going on and going from city to city looking for the Tesla related events. Well, people are live streaming this. People are making videos about it. People are making their own merchandise based around it. So even before the event happened, marketing for Tesla is going on worldwide on all these channels that they're not paying for. The non-marketing marketing, the no advertisement advertisements.
Well, they have the Zealots, which is part of the Primal branding stuff right there. And it hits a lot of the marks. Yeah.
Yeah. The pitch perfect Primal branding has led to people being absolute zealots. I mean, it's a cult following. It just happens to be a gigundo cult.
Yeah.
It's humongous. Now, when the event proper began, I want to say it was like 9 p.m. Eastern time, might have been 10 p.m. Eastern time. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. They start off with a drone show, a drone light show.
Okay, so
Can you see it in your head?
Well, was it a computerized swarm kind of thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A
Not just private people.
computerized swarm drone light show, pre-programmed, of course. And the first thing that they did was they shot these drones up into the air, and they made the face of Nikola Tesla in the sky. And as soon as this thing starts, so they had either a drone or a helicopter in the air filming the whole thing. And as soon as this drone show started, people started pulling over on the side of the highway just to watch the drone show. And you could clearly see that you got the drone show, and then you've got the Tesla Gigafactory over here, giant Tesla, and Tesla and Cyber Rodeo written on the side of the building in laser lights. So just random people have no idea what's going on,
crazy.
pulling over on the side of the highway to watch this.
Yeah.
Then they had the drones turn into a Model Y Tesla vehicle with the wheels spinning, turned into the Cybertruck, did like a whole cyclone tornado thing. It did a whole bunch of different things. And then the drone show took off, and these drone swarm takes off and goes somewhere else. And then finally, Elon Musk takes the stage. Now, people have been there all day. They've been live streaming. There was Now You Know is a channel that's all about Tesla.
Right.
And they actually live streamed. Neither one of the hosts had been invited. And what they did was they live streamed, and they coordinated with people who had been invited. And you ever seen like the two anchors in the studio? Well, now we go live to so-and-so, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They coordinated with like a dozen people that were invited, and they had that. Now we go live to so-and-so who's got a view of the Cybertruck. And now we go live to so-and-so who's sitting inside of a brand new Model Y. Oh, it was astounding. It was wild to see. They even said, now we're going live to someone who wasn't invited, but they're outside and security is kicking them out. That's true. They did that. And security's like, you got to get out of here. The whole thing just created massive attention, not only for Tesla itself, but for all the cottage industries.
Well, I mean, it happened in Austin, Texas, and we're here in North Carolina talking about it.
We are talking about it. And you know what? We're late to the game talking about it. It's already Tuesday the next week.
Yeah.
You're talking about people who live streamed it there. You're talking about people who did videos after the fact, highlight reels after the fact, new information that Tesla didn't necessarily want to officially release got leaked. Oh no! Did we leave that out there?
No,
You
that's brilliant.
So
So I know something.
Yeah,
yeah.
So there's a standard range Model Y dual motor, which doesn't exist technically, officially doesn't exist. But people kind of theorize that because the Austin Gigafactory is going to create a brand new battery cell called the 4680 battery cell, they said, well, the 4680 battery cell is much better, much more energy dense, so they must be able to do either this or this. Either they're going to make a really high-range Model Y or they're going to use fewer batteries so that they can make more cars and have a standard-range Model Y.
Yeah.
And so Tesla Raj was the channel, the guy sitting in it, and he's like looking at the screen and poking and prodding around. He's like, wait a minute, this is a standard-range dual motor. This doesn't exist. Technically, officially, this doesn't exist, but here it is. And so, of course, that got leaked. Oops, my bad.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to show that.
Oh, no.
But he ain't stupid. He knows.
No, of course he's not
Yeah.
stupid. If Elon Musk didn't want it to be seen, it wouldn't have been seen.
Yeah,
And if it
exactly,
did get seen, then somebody, the men in black would come out from the back and put a bag over your head, and you'd be taken to an undisclosed location until you decided you didn't see what you seen. I seen it. I didn't see it. My bad.
What is that device? You didn't see nothing. Oh well. So this is a lesson as far as marketing. I mean, obviously, I don't think not many people can do large scale like that.
No,
You know,
no. I mean, I can't even ballpark the amount of money.
So an
that was spent
open
on that.
house where you're having free games, social media event.
Yep.
I use the cake store as an example. We talk about cake store. We talk about other stuff. Have a party, a bounce house, a grand opening of my cake store, some free samples, coupons, stuff like that is all really good marketing ideas to get your name out there.
Yes.
And so that's what he did on a giant scale.
On a gigantic scale, yeah. I mean, an enormous scale. But also, he was revealing little things, just like accidentally. Ooh, standard range Model Y, my bad.
Whoops.
Standard range Model Y dual motor. But then he had the Cybertrucks there, but he had like 4 different versions of the Cybertruck, each one like a little bit different. So everybody's talking about it. Well, what about this one? Well, this one's got this, and that one's got that. And then he pulled one out onto the stage and made a whole big event out of it. You remember how he broke the windows?
Yeah.
Franz broke the windows of the original?
Yeah.
Well, the Cybertruck pulls out on the stage, and then Franz gets out of it. He drove it up onto the stage, and he just looks in the crowd. He's like, y'all want me to break it again? And the place erupted. It was like I went to the Bon Jovi concert on Saturday.
Right.
This place was rocking just like the Bon Jovi concert. It was wild.
Now, how come other companies can't do it like that?
Because nobody has that type of love for other companies. They didn't hit the Primal branding notes to start with. Remember that they don't have that compelling creation story. They don't have that the parts about Primal branding that activate people's love for something. Most car companies are not focusing on.
Yeah.
Most car companies don't have the sacred words the way that Tesla does. They don't have the compelling creation story. They don't have the rituals even. I mean, what's the ritual for a Ford car? Pumping gas?
No, there's no ritual. The ritual for the trucks are like hardworking, off-site kind of, or mountain climbing.
That's
just a visual
That's an
thing.
identity
Yeah.
But the reason you say it's a visual thing is because of the fact that you saw it on a commercial.
That's exactly right.
What is it? Is it Ram tough or Ford tough or I can't. It
See,
doesn't
you
even
can't
connect.
think of, but you,
Yeah.
because
But
you're
you
not a
see the
zealot.
image of the commercial. If they spent the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that they spend on commercials and redirected them to making one humongous event that's worth talking about,
Right.
then they could pull it off too.
I don't know if they're late to the game because if they pull all their advertising, it just leaves room for their competitors to eat it up, and I think they're kind of stuck in a catch-22 maybe.
Well, we've talked before about how when I first tried to start a business 13, 14 years ago, I was at the dying end of the old paradigm.
Right.
But not quite, the new paradigm hadn't quite matured enough for it to be really available to us. I think that's kind of a problem that some of these legacy automakers are having, is that there's a new paradigm that is now coming into its own.
Right.
The Tesla EV Primal branding paradigm. Tesla's doing it, Rivian's doing it, Lucid's doing it. Tesla's doing it the best because they invented it, they did it first. The old companies, like you said, if they pull all their advertising down and redirect their money, it's difficult for them to pivot without abandoning what they were doing. And what they were doing before is what's paying people's salaries and paying the bills now. Yeah. They can't just abandon it and jump into something brand new. That makes them a startup again. I mean, Ford hasn't been a startup in over 100 years.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. And you can't just redirect your followers to be like, we don't advertise no more. You know, your name drops off. You know, that's tough. That's tough.
That's what you're saying. You redirect your followers so that what you're essentially saying to them is, we're not going to advertise anymore. We need you to do it for us. That's not activating any Primal branding notes either. No. Those Primal codes are not being activated. So the way that Tesla did it with the Cyber Rodeo, with the Easter eggs leading up to it, little hints about what might be there, what might not be there. Perfect example, the day before, they put like what appeared to be at least one of each of their model vehicles just out in public, just out front, but they were all covered up. And people were flying private drones over top trying to figure out, what's under the cover? What's in the box? What's under the cover? Like a kid shaking a gift on Christmas against his ear, like, what's in there? People were talking about it leading up to it before it even happened. And it just generated so much buzz. And here comes Elon Musk driving up onto the stage in not just an original Roadster, the original Roadster, VIN number 1, Tesla VIN 1. And then gets out wearing a cowboy hat and one of those, it was a big old belt buckle with a Tesla T inside of a Lone Star star. But come on.
That's where you think he's a supervillain. But he's a marketing
Stephen
genius.
Colbert asked him, he's like, are you a supervillain? Well, people refer to him as the real life Iron Man, so he's a superhero. But Stephen Colbert asked him, based upon the facts I know about you, I think you're a supervillain. Are you a supervillain? And Elon Musk answered with, well, a lot of people think I'm an alien. He didn't answer the question.
That's the thing. They think that
the lesson to be learned about the clinic that they ran on marketing was what you're talking about. Somebody from a small business could put on, even though they can't put on a $1 billion event, they can put on a compelling event that draws people in, invite certain people, invite people that have a YouTube channel with a good following, invite people that have succeeded at things that you've done. Even notify, the local sugar company, the local flour company. Like we have that grocery store in town where they sell, this is home ground flour and home ground. You know what I'm talking about? Right, it's like a little mom and pop store where they grind their own this and all that stuff. Invite them out to see what you're doing with their ingredients. Those type of things are available to people on a smaller scale. Make it something that people want to talk about, and people will talk about it. Right. And then without spending a dime on advertising, your company, your product, your brand, your service is being talked about out there. It makes people feel good to talk about something that made them feel good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because as we're talking about it, I'm getting excited about the excitement that I had when I was watching it. And hopefully some people will get even a fraction of the excitement when they watch us. Right. And maybe they then go and talk about it as well.
Yeah. You make up a hashtag and tell everybody that shows an event to post that hashtag out.
Hashtag Cyber Rodeo.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, this is Ash, the mad scientist. I ain't done yet.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll let him finish. Do all of your names.
I get really sensitive about my name.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn off my microphone while you do all your names. Go ahead.
The mad scientist. Friendly neighborhood mad scientist. And go ahead and turn your mic on.
And I'm Dave.
You're so boring. He's a barbarian, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Like and subscribe. Please do. If you enjoyed it, if you liked it, go ahead and like it. It does help us out a bunch.
Yeah. We love giving this message out. AMSdynamics.com. This is the Small Business Superheroes Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Extra, the Small Business Superheroes Podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and many more. Small Business Superheroes is powered by AMSdynamics.com.